Good evening. The time is 6 p.m. I would like to call to order the Norwood City School District Board of Education meeting. Today is Thursday, October 19th, 2023. The Norwood City School District Board of Education follows a bi-monthly meeting schedule. The first meeting of the month is called our committee meeting. At this meeting, we discuss fully our agenda for the board meeting to be held the third Thursday of each month. As board members, we encourage you to attend, watch, and listen to our committee discussion resulting in action at the board meetings. For full disclosure, our committee meetings and board meetings are always announced, video and audio taped, as well as posted to our webpage for your view. All of our meetings are public and visitors are welcome. Mrs. Camphouse, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Atwood.
Present.
Ms. Ballard.
Present.
Mrs. Rarica.
Present.
Mr. Taylor.
Present.
Mrs. Cole.
Present. All right, if you would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 1.04 on the agenda, this is the adoption of the agenda. Do I have a motion to adopt?
I'll motion to adopt.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camphouse?
Mr. Atwood.
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes. Just a few little housekeeping items here before we get into the good stuff, as we like to think of it around here. Item 1.05, these are the minutes for the regular meeting, September 21st. 1.06, these are the minutes for the finance meeting, October 9th. 1.07, the minutes from the committee meeting, October 10th. And I think that's it. Do I have a motion to approve 1.05 through 1.07?
I'll motion to approve 1.05 through 1.07, the minutes.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camphouse?
Mr. Atwood.
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes. All right, with all of that approved, we are ready to move on to number 2. This is our presentation section of the agenda. And our first presentation, 2.01, this is our Norwood High School Marching Band. So I will turn it over, Mrs. Ronan or Mr. Lee. I'm not sure who I'm turning it over.
Mr. Lee, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Come on up.
I love the new uniform. Looks so much better.
All right. Good evening, members of the board, Superintendent Ronan, Mrs. Camphouse. I'm proud and honored to present to you our new marching band uniforms. Exactly 6 months ago, I came to you to show our sample uniform that you so graciously bought for us. And tonight, we are here to say thank you, and to show off the new and improved look of the Norwood Marching Indians. Words cannot express the feeling of putting on that uniform and the pride that gets instilled in you representing our school. This marching band has had a long and difficult season, from the summer days in July to a week-long band camp of 8 hours of rehearsal a day to a rigorous competition season. This season, in addition to the Friday night football games, your Norwood Marching Band has hosted its own marching band show, traveled to Hamilton and Kettering. We played a show this past Saturday at The Ohio State University, and this weekend we will wrap up our season at Turpin High School, where our seniors perform their last show as a Norwood Marching Indian. This year, we can hold our heads high, a little higher, as we took the field in competition, knowing that we look great. The pride that is instilled in these students when wearing these uniforms is like none other, and these students will remember being the first ones to wear these uniforms for the rest of their lives. We would like to thank you and show our appreciation of putting our students at the center of your decision to provide the funds to buy these amazing looking uniforms. So without further ado, I present to you the pride of Norwood, the Norwood Marching Band. Thank you so much. All right. Go.
Thank you. You guys look and sound truly amazing.
Thank you.
Do we have pictures of?
There are pictures all over the place of all these, but we can get one out here.
Yeah,
in the front.
yeah, we would love to
I
have.
took a quick one for Amber.
Yeah,
Great.
we would love to
I
have
really appreciate
pictures.
that.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lee. As Mr. Lee mentioned, we had we had a couple of people come and model these uniforms, as he said, 6 months ago. And we kind of messed up because we had that after you guys all left. And it's like, no, we have to have that when everybody's here to see that. So I'm glad that they got to show that off for everybody. So thank you so much, Mr. Lee. All right, item 2.02 on the agenda, this is our Rising Star section, and I will turn it over to Mrs. Chesson.
Thank you, President Cole. I'm thrilled tonight to honor our rising stars from each of our schools. So when I call your name, we're going to give you a big cheer. We're going to ask you to come down here and stand to be recognized. And I'm going to shout out some great things about you that your teachers and your administrators have reported to us. So let's start with Sharpsburg Elementary Rising Star, Kaylee Everesto Gutierrez. Kaylee, come on down. Let's give her another round of applause. Sharpsburg Elementary is proud to honor third grade student Kaylee Everesto Gutierrez as October's Rising Star. Kaylee is a great example of the true meaning of a star student. She comes to school prepared every day and often exceeds expectations on homework and other assignments. Kaylee is so kind and warm to everyone in the school community. When there is a new student, she is one who always makes them feel welcome. She has been a great help to some multilingual learners and quietly helps them in class and around the school. We are so proud of her for her hard work and kindness at Sharpsburg Elementary. Congratulations, Kaylee. Norwood View Elementary School's Rising Star student for October is Harmony Cunningham. The fifth grade team at Norwood View Elementary would like to nominate Harmony Cunningham as our Rising Star for the month of October. Harmony began her education at Norwood View in third grade. Now she is in the fifth grade. Harmony has made great strides to be a leader in the classroom and around the building. Harmony is working above and beyond. On the playground, Harmony is often seen writing or creating something in her notebook. She loves math and has been working on her own multiplication book to help her be more successful. In class, Harmony chooses to go the extra mile when working. She's very independent and volunteers to help others. It is with great pleasure to see Harmony working to make a positive difference here at Norwood View. She has worked very hard, and we are all so grateful to see her making such great strides. She's making a real difference for herself as she strives to grow and reach her personal goals. We are so proud of her. Congratulations, Harmony. Williams Avenue Elementary School's Rising Star student for October is Jay Spain. The fifth grade teachers are very excited to announce Jace Bain as Williams' Rising Star. Jace has started the year with the intention of being a leader in and out of the classroom. He has perfect attendance this year, has been focused on his academics, and is helpful at teaching the third graders playground football rules. His favorite thing to do is play football for the Little Indians. He's number 34 on the team. Way to go, Jace. We are so proud of you. The Norwood Montessori School Rising Star student for October is Jackson Kolkebeck. Yes, thank you. This month, our kindergarten Rising Star student is Jackson Kolkebeck. There, I got it right that time, Jackson. He is a shining example of a PAX leader at the Norwood Montessori School, exemplifying our 3 school rules, taking care of ourselves, other living things, and the environment. Jackson is a hard worker, always eager to learn new things, and he gets his work done every day. His classmates often look to him for a helping hand, as he is always supportive and kind and an excellent teacher. Because of his dependability, Jackson is often called upon to help up with special tasks. Jackson also keeps his teachers and his classmates smiling with his wonderful sense of humor. Congratulations, Jackson. You are truly a role model and a rising star. Norwood Middle School's Rising Star student for October is Kylie Burns. Kylie Burns exemplifies what it means to be a star student and ready, responsible, and respectful. She is ready for class on time each bell with all the necessary supplies and work. Kylie's superior work ethic makes her a very responsible student. Her work is always high quality and completed on time. Her respectful nature shines through in all she does. Kylie is helpful to others in so many ways. She volunteers to pass out papers. Kylie helps other students with their work and anything else they need assistance with. She engages in the learning process by asking questions and modeling what it means to be an exemplary student at Norwood Middle School. Congratulations, Kylie. Norwood High School's Rising Star student for October is Johnny Gomez Moreno. Johnny is a sophomore and is a diligent student in the classroom. Mrs. Stacy mentioned how she appreciates how he's always so focused and on task. Johnny goes above and beyond expectations to help his classmates succeed in class. Without being asked, Johnny will assist students that seem to be struggling and work with them very patiently until their assignments are complete. Johnny always wears a smile around the room and throughout the building. He's a prime example of what helps Norwood High School shine bright. Congratulations, Johnny. Norwood Athletic Rising Star student for October is Graham Metz. Graham Metz is a junior in the Norwood boys varsity soccer team. Though this is Graham's first year with the program, his impact was felt immediately. In his first start, he scored 2 goals and had 3 assists, which totaled 7 points. Throughout the season, he has helped keep his production high by scoring at least 1 goal in every game that he has played. Graham has made Norwood history by eclipsing the single-season goals scored record with a total of 27 and counting. As of today, he is the Miami Valley Conference leader with points of 59 and 27 goals. Graham's contributions have helped lead the team to 11 wins this season and the most since 2014. The team finished second in the Miami Valley Conference Gray Division and won their first round in the OHSAA sectional tournament match versus Reading on Tuesday, October 17th. This season, he has been a nominee 3 times for the Cincinnati Enquirer Athlete of the Week and was named the Miami Valley Conference Student Athlete of the week of September 3rd. Graham has been a welcome addition to Norwood, and we can't wait to see how his star continues to rise in the Highlands. Congratulations. Our district Rising Star staff member for October is Ashley Shelby. Norwood Middle School is proud to name Ashley Shelby as our Rising Star staff member for October. Ms. Shelby has grown the library into a beautiful place where students can come to learn, collaborate, and engage with their peers. Our circulation is higher than it's ever been as Ms. Shelby secures grants, fundraisers, which in turn allow the purchase of current literature that students are interested in reading. Ms. Shelby works with the Montessori School as well and has welcomed them into the space. Thank you, Ms. Shelby, for all that you do for our students, the staff at Norwood Middle School, and the Norwood Montessori School. You're one of the many reasons why Norwood Middle School is such a great and special place to be. Congratulations. At this time, we're going to invite the board members to come around and congratulate all of you, and then we're going to take a really great group picture. And we invite all the Rising Star staff members and students to go with all of their family members out to the lobby, and Ms. Cornelius is going to take some great pictures in the lobby. Thank you all for being here.
Oh, certainly.
I know I'm not the only one that is so excited to have our students back with us. That's my favorite part of the board meetings. So it's great to have everybody back. All right, item 3 on the agenda, this is the personnel superintendent recommendations, and I will turn it over to Superintendent Mrs. Ronan.
Thank you, Madam President. 3.01 is employment, and in that category, number 1 is supplemental contracts for teachers who take on additional duties. Item number 2, we want to welcome several student assistant and educational aides for our special education classrooms. Number 3, this is teacher mentors these are veteran teachers who mentor our new teachers. Item number 4, avenues for success. This is staff for our great after-school program. Number 5 is a change in status. We need some additional hours for our preschool itinerant teacher. Number 5 is just a correction to the September minutes. Number 6, here we are doing pupil activity contracts for all the individuals who run our sports. And as you can see, winter sports are definitely happening. And that concludes this section. Then under section 3.02, termination during probationary period, we do have 2 staff members that we are terminating due to failure to get a state license or their schedules didn't work for them to actually work here. So that is the end of my report. Thank you very much.
All right, do I have a motion to approve 3.01, items 1 through 6?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camp House?
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes. And now do I have a motion to approve 3.02?
I'll move to approve 3.02.
I will second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camp House?
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes. All right, item 4 on the agenda, this is the Education Committee report, and I will turn it over to Board Member Mrs. Rarica.
First, we have our Talbot House, what do we call this thing? It's called a Memorandum of Understanding. I don't like to just say MOU, where we just say that we commit to working with them. And then our second thing is our field trips, which I just love. The high school going to Monty Inc., 3 different plays for the Children's Theater for Williams Avenue, kindergarten and first graders, Scarlet Oaks for the middle school. My own kid brought that home. I signed it. And Sharpsburg Elementary going to Green Acres, which I do love that place. I would like, we didn't have to vote on the one before. Okay, so both. I move that we approve 4.01 and 4.02.
I will second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camp House?
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes. With those approved, we are moving on to number 5. This is our Policy Committee report, and I will turn it over to Vice President Taylor.
Thank you, Madam President. We have 3 policies and 1 regulation for their second reading. BDDG, this policy was updated to more closely match the language in revised code and case law. It allows the board to waive the reading of its minutes, but asks that all necessary corrections are made and then approve the minutes of each meeting at the next regularly scheduled meeting. District should make minutes available to the board 2 days prior to the next regular scheduled succeeding meeting. Copies are also made available to the public. We have EHA, data records of retention, to clarify the commission's responsibilities when adopting or revising a records retention schedule and disposing of records. The updated policy also distinguished between the disposal of records that appear on the district's approved records retention schedule and the disposal of obsolete records. The records meeting follows the Open Meetings Act, and therefore we also share the day, time, and place. Notice will be posted on the district's website. Most of the language of this policy was in there, but has been moved around into 3 key areas. First is the commission and who is part of the review and how often. The second is the retention schedule. And the third area is how to dispose of the records. We have EHAR. Based on the guidance from Ohio History Correction Local Governance Records Program and the Ohio Electronics Record Committee, email and social media platforms are a medium for conveying records, and as a result, the retention of or disposal of email, messages, and social media content must be related to the information they contain or the purpose they serve. Recommend that we still review, but not worthy of a separate policy and regulation. Finally, JED, student absences and excuses, has been updated to reflect the changes and remove references to considerations specific to COVID-19. Absences are categorized into medically and non-medically excused absences. Some additional readings fall under the category of emergency or other set of circumstances in which the judgment or the superintendent would be used to determine a good and sufficient case for absence from school. I'd like to make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Just because we have guests tonight, you're probably wondering, like, what are these policies? And almost always it's stuff that's handed down to us from the state. So it sounds like a bunch of like legalese because it's from the state. Sometimes we write our own policies, but usually it's stuff like this and it's just from the state and we just have to do it.
Madam President, I just want to remind everybody that this is the second reading, so these policy changes were first brought up a month ago.
Correct.
We reviewed them, read them for the first time last month, so this is the second reading. And then upon approval of this, they'll go into effect.
Yes. Any further discussion? Mrs. Camp House?
Mr. Atwood.
I had a
Yes.
question, Debbie.
Oh, sorry, Amber?
The absentee policy, I believe is part of the upcoming changes that are actually going to be happening. Have we received any updates on that? Is this a separate thing? Because I know that there's a current policy that is on the floor that also involves what we've been discussing with the resolution that we presented. And that's up for vote, I think, within the next week or two. So I'm not sure if this policy is going to be changing again very soon, or is this a separate issue?
Separate issue.
It's a separate issue.
Okay.
So, okay.
Good, because I personally don't like it, because my
'Cause I
kids
know
just
it's
had
all
to miss
tied
5
into
days for
absentee
COVID,
policy.
even though they weren't sick the whole time.
Okay.
And they got marked 5 days.
Any other discussion? All right, Mrs. Camp House?
Mr. Atwood.
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes. Okay, we are moving on to item 6. This is building and grounds. This is Miss Ballard's section. Amber, are you able to do this, or would you like me or someone else to fill in? Okay.
I've got it. So you said, hang on, I'm trying to open up different
Amber's
pages
on
here
the
real
side
quick.
of the highway.
Let's see here.
She's on the side of the highway. That's why.
All right. So for facilities and usage, I have several items on the list. Let's see here. The first one up is Norwood Recreation for use of the middle school, Williams View, and Sharpsburg gyms for practices and games, various dates and times to be determined this fall into spring. 2 was the Don Community High School using Shea Stadium for their football game on Saturday, 10:28 in the evening. 3rd is the Norwood City Council and the Norwood Housing Committee using Views Cafeteria for a community meeting on Wednesday, 10:25 from 6 to 9 p.m. Those items are all listed in further detail in board docs, and I would like to motion that we approve those requests as presented.
I'll second.
Well, I guess I can't motion, but I'd like to ask someone to motion because I'm technically not there.
I need a second. I need a different motion.
I'll
so we
motion to approve the facilities usages.
And I will second.
There we go.
There we go. You're good, Amber. Any discussion? All right, Mrs. Camp House?
Mr. Atwood.
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes. All right, item 7 on the agenda, this is our Finance Committee report. So I will turn this over to our treasurer, Mrs. Camp House.
Thank you, Madam President. 7.01, our financial reports and change order listings are attached for your review and approval. 7.02, permanent appropriations and 412 certificate, our budget for the current year. 7.03, then and now purchase orders, just a few purchase orders that need further approval. 7.04, rebid advertisement for Shea. The additional bid advertisement was necessary due to the newspaper's time demands and was only modified to review dates. It has been fully advertised and awaits your approval effective September 25th, 2023. 7.05, PNC banking contract, which is a 5-year contract, and includes some strong internal controls against fraud. 7.06, waive school fines for COVID years to waive student fines for missing Chromebooks and library books that accumulated during the 1920, 2021, and 21-22 school years. We continue to tighten our processes so that we have less risk and asset controls. 7.07, purchase of a dump truck. This purchase of a small dump truck is to replace our very old truck, which is in bad shape. 7.08, resolution to declare transportation impractical. This is an updated resolution to include additional private and charter schools that are impractical for us to transport to. 7.09, certificate of substantial completion. Now that the change orders seem to be finished on the high school phase 2 project, I'm recommending that we authorize this certificate of substantial completion. This document defines the date that warranties start for equipment installed in our high school project and also completes the building permit process. There is a vote box right there for 7.01 to 7.09.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve items 7.01 through 7.09.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I do have some items for discussion on this. The first being, and maybe this is the only item for discussion that I have. So I have a hard time with, gosh, what number is it? 7.06, the waiving of school fines for the COVID years. I understand why we're doing it, but these are, now keep in mind, these are fines on this document that total over $40,000 that we're just going to wipe off the books. Doesn't sit well with me. It really doesn't. So if we incur fines as a district from those, we have to do a better job in going through and collecting that money so that way they don't continue to rack up. And then we're being asked again, because mind you, we just did this, what, a year or two ago over school lunch fines and fees. And that was another massive amount. So I'm going to vote yes for this, but I'm not happy voting yes for this.
And I would just like to say that we have changed our processes completely so that Chromebooks are not given out, multiple Chromebooks. During our COVID years, the only way to educate students was to give a Chromebook, and if they were missing a Chromebook, we gave them another one because we had to have that connection with the student in order to educate. And that certainly isn't the way that we're doing things now, and we actually have a loaner Chromebook that's kind of embarrassing to use, so it's working out to our advantage. They're not allowed to take it home. And in addition to that, we are trying very hard to collect either cash or our ultimate goal, which is to get any missing Chromebooks back. And we will continue to do that on these students that are still active, that do have unpaid fines. We don't anticipate this happening again.
Right. So that kind of begs the question, when we were presented with the technology, Chromebook option for our kids as we kind of moved along with the times, that there would be some sort of insurance policy with a lot of this damage, missing chargers, broken screens, just basic wear and tear. Do we have an insurance policy for our technology?
We checked into that, and unfortunately, when you give a Chromebook to a student, they're considered a trusted person, and so fraud coverage does not cover them. If the Chromebook was stolen out of somebody's car, it would cover it, but it doesn't cover for a student that just fails to bring it back to school.
Right. So we don't have anything like Apple Care for broken screens.
Correct. And our technology department does most of the repairs. I mean, I would say they do all the repairs. If it can't be repaired by us, it is replaced.
Right.
So our costs are really low for repairing. It's just the ones that don't come back.
Right. So keep in mind, so this $42,000 that we're being asked to just wipe off the books, we incurred some cost to replace and fix part of this money. This is what aggravates me.
Yeah,
Is
and
that
these
this isn't just a library fine where you didn't bring back a book and it's kind of like a hidden fine. I mean, this is money that we incur. This is a cost that this district incurred. And I understand the need in order to use technology for education, and I'm a big proponent of that. That's the direction we need to go. We have to have better controls in place.
Right.
Yeah.
And I will say that, and I don't know if this makes it any better or not, but when we purchased the Chromebooks to replace these missing Chromebooks, we used ESSER funds because that was their purpose, is to get us through the COVID years.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that we haven't done is taken care of the fines off the students' accounts to make sure that, that they're moving forward with a clean slate. And like I said, this was this was a situation that none of us had ever been through before. You know, no, the schools have never been shut down before. And none of our mandates to educate children were ever lifted or relaxed at all. So this is kind of a one-time situation, or I hope it's a one-time situation that never happens again. And we don't anticipate ever asking the board to waive fines again.
Yeah, I agree. This is not ideal by any stretch of the imagination. And I am the last person that likes to what am I trying to say? To let COVID be an excuse for anything, you know. But you know, as you've already said, Julie, this was the first time, you know, we've ever faced something like this.
Right.
You know, what are you going to do? And, you know, in business, you know, all throughout business school, there's always a bad debts expense, you know, and I, that's how I kind of am getting over this in my mind. It's like, you know, this is just a bad debts expense, and it happens, and it's unfortunate, and it's terrible. And, you know, but, I don't see another way around it. I mean, what are we going to do? You know, I mean, we have to have clean books, and we have to come into balance, and we have to do all of those things. And I don't know what the solution is. And I think that you've already taken all of the steps we can moving forward, and just, you know, to make this not happen again. But I don't think any of the board members, you know, are thrilled about this, you know, but what else is there that we can do? You know, I think this is just one of those things that we just have to move forward.
And I considered this. I mean, I really did try to find other solutions for this. We met with the principals several times as we were tightening controls. And they know how I feel about this. So we will definitely be doing better, but it wasn't easy for me to bring it to the board either.
So, and you said that all of this was covered by ESSER funds anyway. So I'm super glad that we were there for the families, that we did everything possible we could to give an education to every child that we could. And I'm really glad we did it. It was covered by ESSER. You can't deny kids education, so we didn't. And I'm really proud of us, so.
It's the lesser of two evils for sure.
Right.
Any further discussion? All right, Mrs. Camphouse?
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes. All right, Mrs. Camphouse, you can continue.
Thank you. I have one more, 7.10, accept the bid for Shea Remodel, accept the architect recommendation, and approve the A1A contract. On Tuesday, we had a bid opening for the Shea Remodel project, of which we received 2 bids. Both contractors we had worked successfully with before, but Graybach had the lowest bid. I am recommending that we accept their low bid of $1,550,127, and to accept all 3 alternates also, which will give us a contract total amount of just over $1.7 million. The alternates include proprietary HVAC controls similar to that of our other buildings, the 6 outdoor light plan instead of the 5, and to add the foundation support for our new scoreboard, which must be relocated by the flagpole in order to accommodate the 6 light plan. Are there any questions about that? I know we've talked about this a lot, about the 6 light plan and the choices that we had to make to get to that point.
For our guests,
Do we-
fun
Yeah,
stuff.
we need a
is that
motion.
there's-
We need a motion in
Oh,
a
let's
second
get a
before we can do
Yes,
that.
correct.
I move that we accept 7.10.
I'll second.
All right, let's move on to discussion.
The fun stuff to know is that at our football stadium, and this is also, all our schools have been renovated, and now it's Shea's turn. And this is all, and there was a renovation levy, was that 2017?
16.
16? So it's all in that. And there are high voltage wires really close to the football field. And our light poles are close enough to them that when the people go up and change the light poles, they have a very high risk of getting shocked. And so we have to move the light poles. That's been the fun stuff that we've been talking about.
So I noticed in this bid acceptance, so this is the second time we've gone out to bid. So the first time we gone out to bid, it was with a $2.5 million budget. We had to reject all the bids because they were more than 10% over the budgeted amount. And so when we came back this time, we're accepting a bid for $1.5 million. So what was the difference for $1 million?
So the bid estimate, I'm trying to remember because this has been a couple of times. The bid estimate, I believe, was 1.3 million the first time. And all of our bids came in higher. What you're thinking about was one of the bids was 2.5 something million. And the other one was 1.5, and then there was like a 1.8. John, do you remember the numbers? Yes, so they were all over the 10% more than the 1.3. Now, I will say that I do remember talking to the architect when he came up with the estimate months ago and asking him if that was correct because it sounded low to me. Well, of course, it was low. So then we came back with a 1.6 million estimate for the second time that we rebid this. And so then one of our bids was under, one of our bids was over. Gray box was the lowest, and that's why I'm recommending that one.
Okay, I'm just confused because, 2 months ago when we were at a finance committee meeting and we were going over this, the budgeted amount was $2.5 million.
Yeah, it is, and then we have to. That includes both projects. We had the remodel project and the field turf.
The field turf
project, yes.
All right, so the 1.5 million that we're accepting does not include the field turf,
Correct.
and it does not include the scoreboard, just the foundations.
Correct.
Okay.
Are we approving 1.5 or 1.7?
Well, it's 1.7, so we will exceed our budget.
Yeah.
The 2.5.
So what's the building automation system?
That's the HVAC controls.
And so when we started with, I think it was with the middle school, we had an idea in mind of which controls we wanted to use. And I believe it was Mitsubishi because, and John can speak better to this. Do you mind speaking?
For the elementary buildings, we are using Mitsubishi units. We do have Daikin units in the middle school. But we've learned that the Mitsubishis have worked out better, easier to maintain. So we have preferred to be working with the Mitsubishis, which is in this quote.
Yes. And so the only way that you can really declare a certain type of equipment is to make it an alternate. So then, your original bid, your first bid comes in with whatever type of instrument, of equipment that they can come up with the lowest bid. Well, then when you say, but I want Mitsubishi, then they have to do that as an alternate. So that's why that's spelled out like that. Mm-hmm. And so there's several reasons that we want to do that. For one, it's all the same operating system. It all operates the same. It's better for us to control that.
Perfect.
And then have we figured out the lighting dynamic?
So this is a 6-pole plan. Okay. So this plan was the one where the far left pole on the railroad track side will be where the old scoreboard is. And then the other 2 poles on that same side will be off the track.
So we're bringing the right pole, we're bringing to where the scoreboard is?
Yes.
Okay. And then we're just spreading.
And the other 2, I think the first one will be pretty much where it is right now, right? And then the other one will be closer to the track.
So all 3 of them coming down?
They all are.
Okay, and then we're just moving the one to where the scoreboard is, and then
they're actually all being replaced. It's just on the other side we didn't have any problems. This side we have quite a bit of restrictions.
What are we doing press box side? Leaving it?
the LED.
Changing the LED, okay. 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 Okay.
And then Alice is correct about, how the renovation levy that was passed in 2016 kind of helped us with this. But this is also a little bit of ESSER and COVID helping us. So as we were going through, we were lucky enough to be in the middle of renovating all of our buildings whenever COVID hit. And so when it did and we were able to secure some ESSER funds, we were able to use those ESSER funds for current building renovations for like the HVAC system, which saved money from the levy that was passed. But the money from the levy that was passed is only allowed to be spent on upgrading our facilities. It can't be rolled over into the general budget.
Right.
So that allows us the freedom to be able to do a project like this.
And if anybody's ever been in shade, there is no.
There's no HVAC. There's locker rooms have no air conditioning.
Some rooms don't have lights.
Yeah, it's in need of some TLC.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it needs updated. It's been years and years and years.
Yeah.
Like,
This is
25.
five months? Is that, looks like it's 5 months of work. Is that all?
And it'll be done by track season?
It says, yes, it's final completion, March 29th of 24.
yes, and this project won't take as long. It's going to be difficult, and Mr. Peter was having both different Moats and Graybach meet today, as a matter of fact, to start working things out together, because they're working in a very small footprint together.
Yeah.
But Moats will take longer. They're going to get to work right away.
Okay.
Then they have a long pause during winter when you can't do track work because concrete and asphalt and all that shut down. Well, then come spring again, they'll start back up again.
Are
So
they starting November 1st as well? Like just the field's going November 1st as well, or
I
are they
didn't,
starting later?
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Are they taking the field?
The field will be
And
done
that's November
first.
1st. Are they starting that November 1st? And
I'm not sure, but it
Okay.
will be done first.
Give or take a week.
okay, okay. So they're all going to be just in there.
Yes.
And, okay.
We try to leave a little space in case our field gets used as neutral site for soccer.
For soccer, yeah. Okay.
But both said they were willing to work with us if that should happen.
Okay. Awesome.
Any further discussion? All right, Mrs. Campos?
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes. All right, with finance approved, we can move on to item 8 on the agenda. This is the hearing of the public. I did not receive any slips prior to the meeting. Item 9, this is the report section, 9.01, board announcements. Does anybody have any announcements?
I think we're making this the part where we talk about our elementary schools, or our schools that we're
You
connected
can,
to.
yes.
I'll say that at View, they had their walkathon, and it was adorable, and they're really super happy with their fundraising. Really did really well there. They have a festival. Their fall festival is tomorrow, right after school. And then also, well, the other schools have theirs too, but I don't have their other schools. So you guys can tell about it. And the Montessori school just had a Skyline fundraiser last night. I have no idea how much they made, but there were a lot of people there. And they already had their sort of fall activity last week. And that's my 2 schools.
Anybody else have anything they want to share?
The last off-Pike Market is this weekend, along with the home tours over in Victory Park this Saturday. It moved into the afternoon to accommodate the home tours. I believe it's from 12 to 5.
It's true, that home tour should be really fun, I hear. Someone's house is on it.
Amber, I'm just going to repeat what you said at the very beginning because I didn't get my phone to the mic quickly enough, but the off-Pike Market.
Sorry.
Yeah, the off-Pike Market, this is the last weekend, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, this is the last one for the season. It'll be from 12 to 5 this Saturday in partnership with the home tours, the historic home tours.
We gotcha. Any other board announcements? Okay. 9.02, Superintendent's Report, and I will turn it over to Mrs. Ronan.
Thank you, Madam President. As part of our career technical focus, we had 17 students, part of a workshop at the Premier Sneaker Boutique. It's called Corporate, and it's over there in Hyde Park Square. And the store owner, Tom and Michael, discussed the importance of being an entrepreneur and really encouraging the next generation of designers and students looking to create their own path and be small business owners. And 4 Norwood students earned a pair of new sneakers by answering questions. I think that's on the next page there. Yeah, that's where that is. So that was a great day. So in addition to that, we also had Leslie Hadaway science class went to Beacon Orthopedics for their skills lab. They were introduced, and that's them in scrubs right there. They already look like surgeons. They were introduced to physicians, surgeons, and other healthcare professionals. They were given a tour. So we definitely want to expose students to all types of careers, from entrepreneurship to the health profession, so they're thinking about what they're going to do after graduation. So thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Ronan. All right, 9.03, this is the Great Oaks Report. Ms. Ballard, do you have anything?
I do. Let me pull it up here for you. All right. So recently, the Laurel Oaks campus diesel mechanics students partnered with our Blanchester chemistry students to create biodiesel and began learning how to turn biodiesel byproduct, which is glycerin, into soap. They are actually going to be they were featured this past summer at our ACTE Impact and Innovation Conference in Columbus. And there is a new grant called Tools for Schools, and they added a biofuel creation lab through a $10,000 grant provided by Harbor Freight to make all of this possible. So now it's a mobile fuel processing lab that they can take to each of our campuses and show kids how to process biofuel. So we're beginning to enter into environmentally friendly fields and open up those possibilities to our students, which was just a really great grant to receive. Our spotlight on students this month, we have a Norwood student, Tatum Cotterman, who is in our Scarlet Oaks Digital Arts and Design department. He was announced as the new reporter for the Skills USA leadership team. So we wanted to reach out and say congratulations to Tatum for that. We also have an upcoming College Careers and Coffee. So this is a Q&A type meetup for parents of 6th to 10th graders who have questions about potentially sending their kids into a vocational program like the Oaks. And that will be held on Thursday, November 9th at 6:30 p.m. It's at the Anderson Center. So it's like a community center over in the Anderson area. And it's open to the public to come, meet, ask questions for anyone who might be interested. Those sessions are about 90 minutes long. And that concludes my report. Okay. Oh, wait, no, I have one more thing. I'm sorry. Our report card for Oaks came in. And Great Oaks received a 5-star rating with a 98.8% graduation rate and 93.4% post-program placement and a 96.6 rate of known future placement. So if the kid is going into military or, furthering education, all of those things have been documented. Really high, very good ratings overall. So we're extremely proud of the work that we've been doing there.
All right. Thanks, Ms. Ballard. 9.0. Oh, did I hang up on you? No, I didn't hang up. 9.04, this is Norwood Community Television. Tyler says they just started their film club. They have 7 students, all 6th graders, and they've started working on their first film, which we've all been waiting for, and it's a sequel to last year's smash hit, The Pumpkin Eater. So I know we're all excited to see that. I know they've also been busy shooting the candidate videos for the upcoming election. So that is my report for NCT. And 9.05, this is the OSBA Legislative Liaison, and I'll see if Mr. Atwood or Ms. Ballard have anything to share.
I'll defer to Ms. Ballard.
Okay, Ms. Ballard, do you have anything? Oh, hang on, I didn't have you on speaker. I'm sorry. I'm good now, I'm sorry.
All right, no problem. Okay, let me pull this up real quick. Recently, there have been discussions on the Senate, or in the Senate and House, in regards to the Perkins funding. A lot of that is going to be affecting career tech as well as regular school. When it comes to Workforce Innovation and Opportunities Act, they're trying to work with their Title I educator recruitment and retention. So there's a lot of work going on in the House related to those items that'll be upcoming. We only have about 3 sessions left this year. They pared it down from 6 to 3 so that, you know, they can get so much work done. So we'll see how that goes. There has been controversy with the ODE recently. Governor Mike DeWine argued about a week and a half ago that he was compelled to ensure continuity of operations for the new ODE workforce, and a judge ordered him not to act on implementing these new agencies at the K through 12 structure. So he has been court ordered to hold that program at least until October 20th. So there has been a temporary restraining order that blocks the transfer of those governance powers from the State Board of Education to the governor's office. So we are watching and waiting on that, and we'll know more after the 20th. Let's see here. Currently, the House is working on 2 bills that would make temporary changes to property tax valuations. So we are watching those. I'm sure Julie is keeping an eye on those. Let's see here. There was some transportation issues that came up in relation to busing, but that doesn't really apply for us. Let's see. And then the legislative report was given to us by the liaison at our recent Southwest Regional meeting last week on October 12th. In addition to several of those updates that I mentioned, she specifically pointed out the resolution that Ms. Chesson, Ms. Havlin, and I helped draft, supporting changes in graduation requirement language for the ORC to be more inclusive for our IEP students. It was enthusiastically received by the entire regional audience. The OSBA staff and leadership team were there, and they all wanted to give big kudos to Norwood for putting that forward. So congratulations, guys. They are very proud of it, and they're really hoping that it goes forward this November. And that concludes my report.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, 9.06, this is Avenues for Success, and I will turn it over to Mrs. Rarick.
Thank you. After-school programs are up and running. It's never too late to sign up. Click on the Avenues for Success on the Norwood School District website and sign on up. They're great. They're fun. It's wonderful. That's it.
All right. Item 10 on the agenda, this is the future meeting notifications. As always, November's a little bit strange because we have the election and then we have Thanksgiving, so our timeline's a little bit off, but we have the committee meeting scheduled for November 14th. I'm assuming that's a Tuesday at the Board of Education office over on Williams, and then our committee meeting will be just 2 days later, the 16th here at the high school in the mini auditorium. Both of those meetings are at 6 p.m. So do I have a motion to approve the future meetings as listed?
I move to approve the future meetings.
I will second.
Any discussion?
The 14th is Capitol Conference, so I just want to make sure if anybody is going, we do have to leave early enough to be back on time.
I think it's the last day.
Unless we
Yeah.
want to be flexible with that date.
Yeah,
It is
Brandon
always.
just pointed out it's the last day, so.
Yeah. I always leave at noon on Tuesday and I'm back way before the meeting.
Okay.
Right. I know sometimes we stay, there's other meetings, it just depends, but I'm fine with it. I just want to make sure folks are aware that is the last day of the conference.
Yeah. Is everybody okay with it?
Every November.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep, we're good with it. All right.
And you said the 16th, correct, for the meeting because of Thanksgiving?
Yes. So the 14th and the
14th and
16th.
16th.
Yeah. And then we'll still have committee at the board office and then the regular meeting here in the mini.
So tell
Okay.
me the second Thursday.
All right. Any further discussion?
Come on, Thanksgiving.
All right, Mrs. Camp House?
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes. All right, with that approved, we are on to item 11, which is executive session. In accordance with ORC 121.22G1, the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, or the investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual. So I would like to motion that we enter into executive session.
I'm sorry, Madam President.
Oh.
It's also number 8 for economic
I am-
development.
I am so sorry. And also number 8, in accordance with ORC 121.22G81, the information is directly related to a request for economic development assistance that is to be provided or administered under the statutes set forth in RC 121.22G81 or involves public infrastructure improvements or the extension of utility services that are directly related to an economic development plan. So I would like to motion that we enter into executive session.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All right, Mrs. Camp House?
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes, the time is 7:01. is 7:38. We are back to open session. Item 12 on the agenda is adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. The time is 7:38. Thank you.
Bye.